Do you ever look at someone and wonder what is going on inside their head?
Hello everyone, this is the fourth match of the 2024 Stardust Tournament, Alliance versus Aureus. In terms of starting lineups, on the Aureus side we have 6 Marosvus, 4 Achilles, and a Caligari. And on the Alliance side we have a Konesh, 5 Morgans, 3 Corvettes, a Tynan, a York, and a Rocinante refit. Those will be the starting lineups for both teams, as it looks right now. Today my co-host isn't with me because they are actually commanding alliance, so it's just going to be me today as Cog goes flying into the distance. Yeah, so we'll be back when the match will begin shortly. Okay, welcome back. The match will start in around 45 seconds from now. Both teams are currently getting ready for the beginning as Graded spawns inside of Spike in his ship. Both teams are just waiting on the counter right now. Aureus had a sub. One of the tournament staff members, Gossi, is filling in from one of their spots. But besides that, nothing much has happened. And I'm just telling Peanut to get out of the way of the combat so he doesn't get shot by a missile out of nowhere. Okay. 10 seconds to match start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the match is a go! Alright, we're already seeing alliances fanning out into 2 formations, it looks like. Leaving the York behind. Here come a bunch of missiles out of the Harbinger ships. Making contact, it looks like... maybe? No, it looks like most of them were shot down. Newbox has taken a little bit of damage in his Morgan, but that seems to be it so far. Alliance with return fire. Heavy damage on Echo and his Caligari. As Spike puts out a volley of fire. Spike is already at half health here. He's lost all his shields. As he takes more fire. Another one of their members, Doritos, taking direct fire as well from the York. As Spike continues to put down fire on the team, which it looks like Aureus is trying to find cover behind that little rectangle there. As Echo retreats behind the lines to regen his shields. Aureus returning fire onto the York, it seems. Although they're not doing as much damage in return. Oh, and there they just lost an Achilles. That looks like the first loss of the match. Maybe. Quite sure where Alliance is going right now. Yeah, that's the first kill of the match. Peanut confirmed in the chat there. It looks like Alliance is doubling back around the way they came. Oh, Alliance just lost a Morgan to the the vengeful Coffee Spirit. Jackson is... For a little bit of background for everyone who isn't participating in a tournament right now, the Aureus team has made a bet with one of the developers in using the Coffee Spirit in every match, and if they make it to the end of the tournament, they'll get their own special ship. As Wolfstew and his Morgan strikes back against Marosvu on Aureus. Yeah, it looks like Aureus is really digging in behind that rectangle there. Although it's not as big of a piece of cover as I think they'd like. Although, Alliance is taking a lot of damage from Aureus at the moment. It looks like some of their lead ships have taken damage. Ice King, pretty heavily damaged here. Reaper Rocks also taking damage, although Reaper is in a Rosnanti refit, so that damage is probably going to disappear in a couple seconds. Yeah, no, it's gone. Ice King here, though, looks like he's retreating. He's trying to find, or trying to get back to the point defense bubble that the rest of the Expanse team has got. And shots are going on a Spike. Spike is coming under very concentrated fire at the moment. It looks like he's going to go down from the amount of fire he's taking. It does look like he's trying to get into cover, but it looks like it's way too late for him. Ultimate trying his best to heal him, but it looks like he'll be wiped out. Although, Alliance does strike back against Aureus' Coffee Spirit. It looks like they're trying to go around Aureus' little piece of cover here. Ice King getting wiped out finally after being on a little sliver of HP by Marasfu on Aureus' part. It looks like Alliance is staying in a tight little group. Echo being targeted by every single missile in the Alliance formation. A Spike spawns back into York, Ice King back into Morgan. Looks like Aureus is bringing the respawns back immediately. Same ships as before. It does look like some of it does look like Ice King here, who is isolated by himself with no point defense cover, is going to be targeted pretty heavily by Aureus, as Spike puts down some return fire to try and cover for him. Jack's taking damage as soon as he leaves spawn. Ice King is down again, mostly isolated from the rest of his fleet. Wolf's Dewey respawned in whatever ship he was in. Trainman also taking a lot of damage, being isolated from the rest of the group, being taken out of the fight. Although it does look like Echo up there in the top corner, behind that little rock in his Caligari. There we go. Yep, very low HP. It gets taken out by the Real Stanta refit. That's 6-3 on the part of Aureus. 6-4. Spike pushing around the other side of Aureus' cover, it looks like. It looks like they're trying. Alliance is trying to pincer Aureus at the moment. Aureus looks like it's gathering in the far side of the rock, and they've adjusted their position a little bit. Spike trying to flush them out of cover as Alliance flanks wide around to try and get behind that little rectangular panel. Fortunately, it does look like they did get around to where they needed to be, but Aureus just moved slightly, like a half a kilometer. So, Alliance is gonna have to do a couple circles here, as a Corvette knocks out one of their Achilles, and Ice King dies again in his Morgan. That looks like he's done with respawns, as Jack sees a full volley of York spinals there. Echo respawning in his Caligari, taking damage, although he did take Neo Sidewinder out in his Morgan. 8-6 for as oh wow. Spike gets wiped out in his York by Echo and his Caligari. 9-6 on the part of Aureus. Jax is very, very, very low. As Alliance takes out another Achilles. Max DPS spawning out of the corner. That's tournament mod. Okay. As Echo takes out another ship in his Caligari, Tynan this time, Vanguard. It looks like Alliance is grouping up behind this central little shipyard bulb here, trying to find some cover while they heal with the Konesh. Spike spawning back in a Raptor. Looks like Alliance is changing up their strategy a little bit. Reaper and his little group here taking damage as they try and flank around. as they come under pretty concentrated fire from Aureus here. New box being taken out by Mirosvu. There are 4 ships left at this point. Although they are putting in some good damage. Raptor putting damage in, and Mirosvu Achilles, 2 Achilles. Mirosvu and 2 Achilles have been lost in the past half a minute or so. It does look like Alliance is managing to get some damage in finally, as they pincer around the rock to try and get damage into the Aureus team here. Another Mirosvu has been wiped out. Morgan's been wiped out. It looks like they're just trading blows at this point. Although they have taken out many of those ships behind cover. Although it did cost them dearly to get there. I mean, by the time they got to the point where they could fire at them, they had like 4 members left in that push, reduced to 3. Yeah. It does look like the refit has gone down, and they're just left with 2 ships over there at this point. They have put in good work. They took out the Coffee Spirit again. They took another Mirosvu out, but that looks like the end of that push. Doesn't look like there are any more ships left over there. C3L and Proper Nerd being the last 2 ships on the Alliance team to be on that side of the map. As it looks like C3L is wiped out, leaving just Proper to fend for himself. And there he goes. Yeah. Currently the score is 14-11. It's not a very wide gap. So far pretty even, I'd say. It looks like Alliance is trying to regroup or it looks like both teams actually are trying to regroup. Alliance this time regrouping, it looks like with Spike in the back there. As shots rain in, missiles and gunfire from the Aureus team on the remaining Alliance ships. Ultimate here desperately trying to heal Vanguard as they make their way over to the main Alliance formation. There are a lot of missiles coming in from Aureus at this point. Neil's Minder taking quite a lot of damage in that volley, as Nubox eats a direct gunfire shot from something. I think one of the Harbinger ships. Look at that giant bubble there, and there's just Spike on his own in the distance there. Spike is taking a lot of fire. I think Aureus has noticed that he's pretty far removed from the rest of the point defense bubble here. But they don't get that much damage in. It looks like most of the missiles were wiped out on the way there. Spike doing a full stop as more missiles come in towards him. This doing a lot more damage this time. Spike is down to half health. Match currently at 12-16. Both teams currently gathering behind cover. Looks like Alliance is trying to switch up their strategy again here. Doesn't look like they're going to push quite yet. Proper are taking quite a bit of damage from missiles coming off of Aureus. As it looks like the rest of Alliance is regrouping with Spike here. As that Konesh gets to work healing again. both teams grouped up behind rocks here, trying to take cover while lobbing missiles over. It looks like Alliance tried to be aggressive in their first push, and that didn't work out too well for them. As the Konesh here, Ultimate is Konesh, working on healing Spike back up to full HP. Spike is pushing back out on his own. Interesting. Well, it doesn't look like he's taking much fire. Looks like he's just moved up to that next panel there. Maybe he's still in cover, but he hasn't taken any damage. Maybe. Yeah, look at that. Aureus really entrenched behind that rock, throwing their missiles over the side. Cosfam peeking out just the tiniest bit in order to try and get the missiles out. Echo splitting off to the side, much like Spike is, kind of on his own. Look at that. Strafe controls coming at a Spike. It's not something you see that much. Aureus saying missiles are passing through debris. That's interesting. Oh, more missiles coming in. Just looks like they made contact with a rock. Yeah, Wolfsy going back to Ultimate for repairs. As Echo and Spike, respectively, managing on their own as the rest of their teams hide behind the same piece of cover. First half of the match is interesting. It's currently 15 minutes in, and it looks like after a failed push from Alliance that it's settling down into trench war. Oh, no, I was wrong. They're pushing out. Alliance is pushing out of their cover as they... as a stream of missiles pour in. Fanning out, it looks like, to try and get... maybe trying to get to Spike as the halftime range is announced. Yeah, it looks like Alliance is trying to regroup up with Spike here as they push out of cover. Ultimate's been left behind in Konesh, interestingly enough. Some missiles from Antares ships come in here, but they're not very good, so they don't really make connection. No, it doesn't. Where are they going? Oh, it looks like Alliance is trying to push up again around the side. Push number 2. Alliance desperately trying to get Aureus out from behind that rock. Most of their ships have been sitting behind it for a while now. They haven't moved at all. As Spike comes under fire from Aureus ships in his effort to... well, it doesn't... Alliance looks like their push isn't going around this time. Echo coming out of cover as well. Looks like just to peek out and use his weapons. Missiles coming out of Echo. Return fire from Alliance onto a Mirasfu, knocking it out. Another Mirasfu has been taken out by Spike. That brings the score to, I believe, 14-16. Spike here coming under concentrated fire from every single laser Aureus has got to offer. Ultimate, de-shielded by something. As Alliance returns fire, taking out an Achilles with another railgun shot. 15-14. Oh, it's not 16. Oh, the disconnect doesn't count. That's fair enough. Echo looks like he's taking cover here from the incoming fire. Man, Aureus is really, really well dug in here. Some of those ships have been alive since the first 2 minutes. At the exact same spot for more than half the match now. Echo pushing out to use his missiles. It's like Alliance has regrouped behind that rock again. I'm not sure what that little push there was. Maybe they were trying to see if being aggressive would work out, and maybe they decided not to. The tournament organizers are saying the score is currently tied as Spike eats another volley of missiles from Harbinger ships. Both teams seeking out cover to try and mitigate damage taken. Interestingly, it looks like Reaper's just sitting out in the open here, but he's taking tow return fire as he puts a shot out on the Caligari. I mean, he's just sitting out there, and he's not. No one's shooting at him. No lasers, no missiles, no nothing. Look, it looks like some missiles are going out to him. They're not doing a whole lot. That shot didn't connect. More missiles coming out from the Aureus team. Looks like. Not sure where they're going. Probably to Reaper, I guess, since he's the only explosive ever. Not taking a whole lot of damage there. The grouped up point defense from behind the rock is stopping a lot of that missiles. A lot of those missiles from connecting. Aureus lobbing volley after volley over that little rock there. Spike coming out from behind cover as Reaper retreats to behind it. Looks like they're rotating their ships out while healing them. Proper coming out of cover as well. Looks like Spike is actually trying to get behind a different piece of cover here. Behind that square panel. Maybe he's trying to get a better angle onto the rest of Alliance. As Aureus keeps pouring volleys out of their silos. Spike here relocated to another. As Alliance, it looks like, is pulling back to the rock where their Konesh is. Alliance here swapping between 3 pieces of cover between all their team. Reaperox taking another missile volley. This is interesting here. Both teams making use of cover. But we'll say Alliance has been moving a lot more in between those pieces of cover, trying to get some better angles onto Aureus, who's been lodged behind that rocks ever since the beginning of the match. It seems Alliance has decided that a wide push in the open isn't the right move. So both teams, it looks like, have committed to the age-old standing tradition of this tournament at this point, which is trench warfare. As Reaperox takes another volley of missiles or something there. Looks like Reaper's got a pocket Konesh there. Echo taking damage from something. Aureus pouring missile after missile out from behind that little square there. Ugh. Both teams just biding their time here. Railgun shot out from Reaper. De-shields Echo, who's currently at half hull. Jacob respawned. If you've seen any of these other tournament matches, you know that respawns outside of cover are prime targets. As the tournament mods mounts quarter time, 42.5 kilometer range. Yeah, it looks like... yeah, we can see on the kill tally there, Jacob was wiped out immediately by Spike and his Raptor. Didn't even get to make it to cover. Echo trying to regen his shields from behind that little thing there. Yeah, it looks like his shields are coming back up. Harbinger ships have, I believe, pretty decent shield regen. As it looks like Echo might be trying to regroup with the rest of Aureus' fleet here. Taking all of his shields. Yep. Echo currently down to like a third of his hull. Might be going down here soon. He's outside of cover and he's pushing forwards. Oh, there comes the rest of Aureus. It looks like they're following. Echo looks like he's trying to spearhead a push here. All of Aureus coming out. Look at all those missiles pouring out from banks. Alliance coming out from behind their cover as well. Looks like they're trying to regroup up with here Reaper. Reaper pushing out. Alliance, it looks like, trying to follow Reaper here. Both teams leading pushes with flagships in the front to support their team. Although it looks like there are still a handful of ships behind that little rock, but there aren't that many. Both teams look like they're in open combat now. Or not. Looks like Aureus is grouped behind another rock. Another one of those little circled bulbs. Respawns are coming in from Aureus, which I'm going to assume are going to be targeted immediately. Reaper Ox and Neo Signwinder here, pushing out far, followed by Italian and Nubox. Wide push here coming from those 4 ships. Morrigan and Mirasfu has been lost. Another Mirasfu is gone. It looks like their respawns are being wiped out. Yeah, look at that. All the respawns gone. Looks like there's a group of 4 ships. Vanguard, C3, trained and proper, pushing up to the central island now. Spike coming out of his little rectangle there on the side to join the rest of the team. Neo Sidewinder takes some heavy damage, as it looks like they're all going to retreat back to the rock again. Although it does look like Neo's going to go down here. Yeah, there he goes. Coffee Spear taking out Neo Sidewinder and his Morrigan. Alliance doing a lot of pushes throughout this match. None of them as long as the first one, though. Looks like they're quick little hit and run attacks. As Tynan takes out Achilles on the other team. (21-17) is the current score, with, it looks like, Alliance in the lead. Looks like Spike has moved up. Neo Sidewinder back in his Morrigan, being targeted once again as a respawn. Just a principle at this point of the tournament. Respawn's getting targeted immediately as soon as they leave spawn. 3 minutes left on the clock. Currently, Alliance is in the lead. Aureus is going to have to make a move here if they want to make up the difference. As, the move is called for teams to close into 35 kilometers. So it looks like both teams might have to come out from behind their pieces of cover here. Though it doesn't look like either team is willing to budge. 22-17 is the current score as Gossi in his respawn, Mirasfu gets taken out. It looks like Aureus is having a really hard time trying to get their ships into cover. They're being wiped out faster than they can make it there. Echo taking some heavy damage here to his shields. I think something both teams could benefit here from is taking some of their larger support ships and trying to screen their newcomers, their respawns, from all the incoming missiles. Because what's happening is, both of these teams entirely behind cover. When those new respawns come in, they're having to deal with the whole team's worth of missiles with just their point defense and no one to support them. And so they're being annihilated as soon as they come out of spawn protection. So it looks like Echo is trying to push out here. Saitaro and Hail 2 following them out of cover. Eyeball, Cyborg, everyone's pushing out of cover except Jax. Aureus team pushing out of cover, trying to make up the difference here with a minute left on the clock, but will they make it fast enough? Currently the score is 22-17. Can they get 5 kills in 50 seconds? Not sure. Looks like Eyeball is very separated from the rest of his fleet. Taking some heavy damage there as Aureus retreats back into cover. Eyeball up there, if you see him in the corner, left with an absolute sliver of HP, clinging on for dear life. The rest of Aureus gathered pretty close around the little rectangle slab there. It looks like 3 minutes have been added onto the clock to give Aureus a chance to make up the difference if they can manage. Echo, it looks like, trying to regroup with the rest of his fleet again. Spike pushing out once more. Cyborg and Jax there, as well as Eyeball. Singular ships behind cover, very isolated. But as per the rules of this match, decided by both team leaders, neither team is using a carrier. So at this point in time, as long as they don't get clipped by a shot or a missile, they'll be fine. No deaths will be incurred. Spike there looks like he's taking a lot of fire from being separated there. As Aureus opens up on, not quite sure who. A lot of them very, very low HP if you look at all the Aureus ships. Saitaro, Doritos, and Echo, all three of them hanging on to a sliver of HP. Same for Jax, behind that little rock there. As Aureus desperately tries to make their best use of cover with a minute left on the clock. Reaper Rock's taking heavy damage here. Although it doesn't look like Aureus is keeping sustained fire on them. Echo and his Caligari seems to be the only one opening fire on Reaper Rocks here in his little refit. Reaper Rock's making use of elevation controls to try and mitigate some of the damage as he tries to retreat behind the rock to heal. 40 seconds left on the clock, it looks like. Both teams at a standstill. As Tynan wipes out a Mrazfu. Not quite sure where. Echo opening fire on Reaper Rocks again. Hail to you, putting out a salvo before retreating back into cover. Missiles going out, but I don't think it'll be fast enough. Yeah, 23-17, it seems, is the final score for this match. Neither team able to finish off the other, it looks like. But in the battle of attrition, it looks like Alliance was victorious there. A lot of failed pushes on their part, but Alliance on the second half of the match decided to just settle down, mostly, it seems. Okay. We'll catch you in post. To sum up the results of this match, these are the losses for each team accordingly. For Aureus, they lost 10 Marasfus, 9 Achilles, 2 Vengeful Coffee Spirits, and a Caligari. And as for Alliance, they lost 10 Morgans, 3 Corvettes, 1 Tynan, 2 Yorks, and a Rocinante refit, with Alliance coming out as the victor. The next match is likely going to be sometime next week, so we'll catch you then.